Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Patch. This week brought to you by Squarespace. We'll definitely talk about Squarespace a little more later in the patch. Special edition of The Patch, the most high production value, high cost episode ever of The Patch.
Yeah.
We flew all the way to Australia.
I feel like there should just be a dude here that's like my footrest.
Where is
like,
he?
just hire the man that
he was supposed to be
get
here.
me an Aussie.
Gavin.
Yeah.
We're getting him
And this
here.
is from now on, right? This is we're just going to shoot here every week.
Never
we'll fly
step down in quality.
So yeah, we're in Australia ahead of RTX AU, and we thought we would just take the time and go ahead and film an episode of The Patch. I'm Gus.
Meg.
Ryan.
And Gus.
Yeah, there it
So
is.
we'll, I'm sure we'll talk about video games like always, but I feel like because of the fact we're in Australia, we're going to invariably end up talking about Australia quite a bit.
Can I interrupt you to say, I didn't know you had hair. Your facial hair goes up your nostril.
Yeah, it does.
This light has just really highlighted the fact that your facial hair
like
literally
ivy.
climbs up your nostril.
It comes up here too, and like all the way across. Like I would have like a raccoon mask if I didn't like.
I wonder
take care of it.
how far off genetically you are from the people that have like the full face thing. Like you got to be a couple genes, right?
Yeah, I'm sure it's like half. Like
Yeah.
I'm almost there. Like one
You
half
have one
of the-
chromosome that was just
You have
tweaked
like
the wrong
an
way.
ancestor who had like full facial hair. So we're in Australia, and this morning I noticed one of my favorite things. I try this in every country I go to.
Every crunchy you go
country,
to?
yes, every time I go to a new country, every country that I go to, I try this. Australia has passed the test. I push the door close button in an elevator, and the doors close.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so amazing.
Does not work in the U.S. The only
Never.
countries I think I've
Never
seen it work
once.
are Australia and Japan.
Yep.
Japan it also
Just
closes.
Japan and Australia both have them, and oh my god, it's so lovely.
Yeah.
In fact, a guy was, we were in the elevator, and this guy hit the door close button, and then a woman walked up, and he was like, "Oh shit!" And he tried to hit door open. Door close overrode it all. The elevator was like, "You have made your choice.
Now live with it. Now
Yes.
watch the sadness on her face.
Now that's the best when you look at someone and you're like hitting the door closed, like,
You're like,
I'm trying.
trying.
It's not working.
I'm trying to save it. I'm sorry."
Do you think that started as a psychological experiment just to see how many people would actually use the button?
Oh, it's like
even though
the
it didn't
really
work,
lame prison experiment,
Yeah.
but not.
like,
It's
will
just-
you push the close button even though there's no chance of it functioning?
I think what I've heard is that in the U.S. the elevators they're programmed in such a way that the door close works when it's in firefighter mode. Like,
Absolute bullshit.
Yeah, but it doesn't work in like passenger mode.
I will segue this into video games by saying that every time it does work, I think I'm gonna come here if there's a zombie apocalypse because that's really handy. If there's zombies coming at
Seriously?
you, to be able to close the
I
elevator
think
quickly.
I've seen it in signs where it's like in case of fire or zombie apocalypse, use the stairs.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
don't think that's
I
real.
don't think you're supposed to use an elevator.
What zombie
What?
apocalypse still
Why?
has power? I mean, come on.
Okay, that's not fair. You could absolutely still have power at the beginning. Totally.
All right,
Right.
so you're going to establish like a loft
It's
way up
like,
high? I mean,
like I Am Legend. People are turning into like crazy monsters, but they were still helicopters
They're still
to take
showing
out
up to
Will
work.
Smith's family.
that's true, but helicopters are not driven by electricity.
Well, but there was
typically.
electricity. I'm saying, okay, Ryan, I
That's
get it. There were
gasoline doesn't
floodlights
stop
and everything
working,
else. Someone
all right?
play the clip because there's clearly electricity still going on. Also, he had a whole lab, so he still.
Yeah,
had
but he had like a couple
Generators,
zombies on like a
Don't
treadmill or
feed
something,
him.
right?
Don't
I mean,
help him.
Yeah, Tesla wasn't making helicopters yet, so it was not like the all-electric version of a helicopter. So how were you going to? I'm just curious. How were you going to segue that into video games?
Well, because like if it's a zombie apocalypse thing, so thinking like video
zombie.
games, you
Do
know,
I
like a
have
zombie game.
Zombies on here. We have The Division. We could talk
Yeah,
about.
absolutely.
That's
But there's
not
electricity
zombies.
in there too.
It's like apocalyptic though.
Whatever.
that's true.
Yeah, it's the second
Seems
half.
to
What has gone down in the world?
Wait, yeah, there's a lot of electricity in the Division because you talk to a lady via your
Human
headset.
society continues.
Interesting. Only in zombies it doesn't continue, but
Look,
in the Division.
no one is
somehow
showing up to
it
work at the
does.
power plants during a zombie apocalypse.
Okay, but I'm saying if it's also apocalyptic in the Division, which looked like nobody was showing up to the power plants either.
still got a few people.
Somehow there's still more.
By the way, zombies would be the greatest green alternative
Yeah, put them in
power
like a little
source,
like,
right?
hamster wheel.
Just
Don't
put a
they-
little brain dangle on a
They
hook
kind of
and
do
make
that in Shaun of the Dead at the very end, right? Like
Yeah.
they incorporate the zombies into like everyday life and try to figure out ways to utilize them.
That was the greatest turn in that movie, is because you never see like an after the fact of the world still dealing with zombies, only society functioning. Like there's kind of like, what was that? It was one of the zombie movies where there's like the big huge black zombie that was like smarter than all the other ones.
It was like the remake of Day of the Dead or something like that. Dawn of the Dead. No, it wasn't it was like the Day of the Dead remake.
Mm-hmm. So they still had power, but it was very limited. Like they weren't using zombies; they were still real scared of them. But Shaun of the Dead was the only one where it's like, yeah, no, the world's going on now. We're just using them for entertainment.
George Romero zombie. I'm trying to look it up.
It's Day of the Dead, right?
Was it Day of the Living Dead?
Look,
Night of the
there's
Living
probably
Dead,
a
Night of the Living
time
Dummy, R.L. Stein, Goosebumps.
zombies.
We did it.
Yeah, I mean, there's just some combination of day of the week, world event in zombie.
Time zombie.
Yeah.
So, The Division.
Yes.
Going back to the second half of Zombie Apocalypse,
Yes.
the
Right.
Apocalypse portion. So I guess the beta is finally coming out January 28th for the Xbox One, and I think it starts the next day for PS4 on January 29th.
Is it open?
Oh, suck at
Open beta?
PS4.
I think you have to pre-order the game in order to get into it, because I've seen banner ads and commercials for that. And I think we talked about this last week on the patch. Division's totally one of those games that I'm super excited about, that fell off my radar,
Yeah.
and is now like suddenly back. It's coming out March 8th in like 2 weeks.
Maybe it's close. Well, March 8th though. I was gonna say if it's February 8th, I wouldn't even bother with pre-ordering it. But maybe I will pre-order it just so I can play the beta.
Well, it's interesting that it's now being very heavily compared to Destiny, really. It seems
it?
like, yeah, that's what
Who's
a lot
doing
of...
that? Where did you read that?
I don't know, man. I don't keep track of
Interesting. He's making
sources.
shit up
You're just
now.
making stuff
He's
up,
making shit
yeah.
up now.
Well, no, a lot of people are laying it out there like that's kind of like the mission structure. It's like you'll just have like a
a
kind
lot
of
of people,
play as you
Ryan?
go.
A lot of people. One person you saw.
Maybe an article somewhere. Maybe I'm the origin of it.
Maybe it's
You might be. It sounds like you are.
He's just trying to plug
I can't
his
back that
own,
up with anything. Yeah.
his own article he wrote.
Yeah, so you can, you just have to pre-order the Division. And it's one of those weird things. It's like, Destiny and Battlefront have that exclusivity marketing deal with Sony, where like all of the marketing materials were very like PlayStation focused. And I feel like Microsoft must have the same kind of deal for the Division, because all the pre-order banner ads and everything I see is like with the Xbox One case for the game.
What was the game? Oh, it was Call of Duty. Did that ever come back to? Remember, you couldn't. Oh, what was it with Call of Duty?
There's time DLC exclusivity on the PlayStation platform.
Yeah, but that's like the new home of Call of Duty. But remember, you couldn't buy the season pass. Did that ever come back to the Xbox Marketplace?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That was
you
like
can buy it now.
forever ago. Remember, the season pass just disappeared. You couldn't buy it on Xbox, but you could buy it on PlayStation and PC.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I never heard.
I think it
update.
came back. I think it was like a weird glitch where it disappeared for like just a couple of days and then.
It was gone for like
back.
a week.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, jumping back to the Division for a second, there's something about I've seen some people have already had access to it. They've been doing playthroughs. Something about it already bothers me a little bit.
Oh, what do you not like, Ryan?
Ryan's upset about
he's,
something.
He's
Come on,
angry.
fucking
Oh
shock.
God, negative Ryan.
All right, here's the thing. All right, you're in a real world situation,
Yeah.
like where this is humans fighting humans.
Okay.
No zombies, no battle armor, no nothing. It's like, here's a guy, I'm going to shoot that guy in the head. And numbers pop out of him, but it was a headshot, and he's like, all right, I'm still alive. Like the guy had a single shot, like SOCOM rifle, pops the dude in the head, and the dude didn't die. That's not right.
I'll be fair. That's pretty annoying.
I mean, oh, you did critical damage.
But to be fair, any video game is never realistic, or you'd be dead all the time because you get shot and then you're like, and blood comes in and then it goes away 5 seconds
But
later.
if I'm shooting
so you have
AI
to suspend disbelief.
No,
Then
not when I'm shooting AI.
It might be training for the fact that there's and I don't know, I haven't played the game, so I'm speculating at this point. It might be training for the fact that for PvP encounters, it might not be an instant kill. So it's training you that you get critical damage, but you're not necessarily going to drop someone right away.
I don't know.
Because if
though.
PvP and like if there's no distinct PvP and PvE areas and it just kind of all
Yeah.
blends together, then I could see like reinforcing that aspect.
Yeah, you'd think like, oh, hacks. Somebody didn't go down.
Or at least just slap a helmet on him. It's like, all right, then I can suspend disbelief. But when he's
But then
bareheaded,
every enemy's going to be wearing a helmet.
all right, well, some of them. I mean, that's how video games are. You got like grunts, and you got like super armored grunts. You got like the elites, and there's like super elites.
And
I
then
mean,
you got a
there's
football
levels.
team.
Yeah, why not?
You got some construction workers.
There's
Whoa, wait a
linebackers,
second. They're not construction workers. It's the apocalypse. They don't go to work.
No, no
they
one
don't
has
do any
it.
construction anymore.
But the helmets are still very useful.
I'm sure.
Maybe they stop you from dying from a single critical hit.
Yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
You would encounter them at places other than construction
Oh, that's
sites
true.
because they're not working.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, so
At their homes.
Non-standard, yeah.
Could a hard hat really stop a bullet?
No, absolutely not.
Then
There's
why
not
would it even matter if it were in the game?
suspension of disbelief.
Oh,
That's all I'm
interesting.
asking.
We're suspending disbelief,
Pretend.
but
Give
oh
him
my
a
goodness.
sock hat. I don't
it's
care.
not realistic, but I want something else that's not realistic to make it better.
Look, that's all.
Put a baseball hat on? Is that what you said? Or
Anything.
a soft hat?
I said like I don't even remember a sock hat. Yes.
What about like one of those old-timey leather football helmets?
Anything. Well, I mean, that's
BB
armor in
suddenly
games has
stopping
always
a
been that way.
bullet.
No one ever expects. I mean, real armor is shitty. Like you can get shot right through armor.
I saw someone. God, I wish it was a story I read maybe a week or two ago. I wish I'd paid more attention to it. But someone was trying to determine whether or not medieval armor would be effective against modern weapons, and they were like trying
Really?
to shoot guns against someone, against like
Yeah.
A suit of armor to see
That sounds
like,
like
how
a
effective it
Discovery
was.
show.
And the answer was no fairly quickly, I
The,
imagine.
the answer was it helps, but it's not as useful as it should be.
As it should be. I mean,
Or was it? No, it was. They did both. I think they did that, and then they did modern armor against medieval weapons.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and modern armor was still somewhat effective, but not really, because modern armor is more geared towards stopping like point of impact, like bullets, as opposed to like
Kevlar does not do
blunt-force
great
trauma.
with like
and
cutting and piercing.
blades. Yeah. So they went both ways.
Yeah, there's like that Discovery show, what was it, like Warrior versus Warrior or something, where they take old-timey things and battle them. That sounds like that show. Somebody saw that and was like,
It made me think of when I was in Japan like 10 years ago. I was walking through a video store, and they had these DVDs of like fictional animal encounters, and I think one of them was like a polar bear fighting a shark. And so I bought it. Of course, I was like, oh, I don't know what this is. It's all in Japanese. Like, I have to watch this.
Yeah.
And it was like this really crappy computer animated fake encounter of a polar bear and a shark fighting. And it was just like all these different like theoretical animal encounters, which makes me think about that.
I imagine the polar bear had a slight edge on land.
Yes, so it was like, yeah, it was, and that was what they were trying to do. Is I think the encounter happened in the North, the theoretical encounter happened in the North Pole, where the polar bear could get onto ice.
there's no ice there anymore now, so the polar bear is screwed.
Yeah, that he's got broken dick bones.
They
If you watch John Oliver.
they also have in Japan the beetle fighting thing. But they have games where you can fight beetles. You like get a plastic beetle. It's like an amiibo. And you like level up
not
your
a real beetle.
No, but they have a TV show that's real beetles that fight each other and they like toss each other off like a stump.
Well, they're not. Awesome. They're also not just beetles. I've also seen like scorpions against beetles, and I feel really bad.
It's like bug cockfighting.
I feel I'm not like pro bug. I'm not a bug fan.
I'm not pro bug. But let me be fucking clear.
Yeah, all right, bug lover.
It seems cruel to me to like have those two bugs. Like I can't watch that.
Really?
Well, okay, here's the thing. So do you think anything of just if there's a bug in your house, just give it a little splat?
No, because that's like quick and painless. I'm not gonna like, I'm not like an emperor in Rome. I'm not like, these bugs will fight for my amusement.
So it's only when it becomes gladiatorial, where it's like dance for my amusement, that's a problem.
That's interesting. I squish bugs, but I don't think, that's quick and painless. I think you've invaded my territory that I've set up in this house. Now you must die.
Yeah, but your house is set up in their territory.
I don't really care.
No, once the walls goes up, it's mine.
No, it's mine now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In Australia, you all have crazy bugs here, so I'd be a lot less forgiving of bugs. Here.
No way. I'd absolutely. Oh, I read a thing yesterday that was like, if you give scorpions any amount of alcohol, they go nuts and like sting themselves to death. And I'm not gonna lie, I was like, I should try that sometime.
How do you do it? You have to get like little shot glasses, and it's got like a sprinkler.
Give it a little sake bomb. Here we go. Yep. I don't know how I assume you put it in a puddle of alcohol and it tastes it to figure out what it's in.
And then
it just goes nuts on itself.
Just furious.
Give it tequila and a worm.
Scorpions, angry drunks.
Well,
confirmed.
After like the scorpion prank they pulled on me, I feel like every scorpion's paying for that from now on.
I didn't see. They tried to pull that on me. They did, and it's an RT Live video if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. It was like right next to my mouse
missed
all
it.
day for like 6
Really?
hours, and eventually they walked in. They were like, "There's a scorpion right next to your mouse." I was like, "Oh yeah, I didn't even see that." If it had been a real scorpion, I would have been stung so many times.
They tried to prank. I think it was like they had like 8 rubber scorpions, and I was the only person they got, and I got twice. One at my desk and one at the coffee machine. It was a horrible day for me.
Well, thank you for allowing them to make content, because that would have been a lot of wasted time.
Ever
How sad was the person that had to watch all the footage from those?
No, Josh was really disappointed because like Gavin found the GoPro first, so then he found the scorpion. Like it just didn't go well.
To be fair, that was not a good job of hiding the GoPro on Gavin's desk. I mean, he spotted it
I didn't notice
immediately.
Mine, although my area was darker. But then nature got its revenge with the wolf spider that hid in my makeup bag, because I was like, live action, and I poked it, and it was like, hello, and I was like, ah.
Oh yeah, the wolf spiders are scary.
Oh,
do not like those.
Gross. Let's talk about video games.
Let's talk more about video games. So then the other thing I wanted to mention about the Division, we mentioned the pre-order thing going on, is that I guess the Brooklyn will not be part of the map at launch, despite the fact that they showed
that was like all the
Brooklyn,
pre-stuff,
right? And they're going to focus on Manhattan initially.
Wait, so how much of Brooklyn is built that they're like, yeah, we'll abandon this for now, but we're going to come back to it?
I don't know. So I'm looking here at the story about it, and I guess there was an interview with the Examiner where someone from Ubisoft said they're sticking to Midtown Manhattan because of the one-to-one recreation of that environment, which should still offer plenty of territory for open world game. And so they don't even mention if we'll see it necessarily later. They say that they are going to have premium DLC with, quote, major expansions and a season pass, but there's not going to be any Brooklyn at launch.
And it sounds like not all of Manhattan. It says Midtown
Midtown,
Manhattan.
yeah.
Yeah, but they said they're creating a one-to-one recreation of that environment, which would still be pretty big.
Huge, yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, it's definitely less than they showed initially.
How can I be a good hipster in the Division if I don't live in
You
Brooklyn?
got to go to Williamsburg.
Colonial Williamsburg.
I know a great little coffee shop.
This is the first time that Brooklyn's ever been considered premium content.
I don't know if you've been to Brooklyn recently, but it's all hipsters.
Really?
Yeah, it's very expensive to live in Brooklyn.
Oh, no, it's been a while.
How often do you hang out in
The
Brooklyn?
entirety of my life, I think.
Yeah. You ever been to New York?
Yeah, several times.
Okay, never mind. So, but no, not Brooklyn apparently.
Bring it. I went just recently for the
Right.
Todd Bear Kingdom guys
Right.
brought us up.
That's true. It's your first time in Australia, though, right?
This is my first time in Australia. So far, nothing has attacked me.
What about
Yeah,
you?
it's my first time in Australia.
It's interesting being here because we always talk about like digital distribution for video games, and I'm always like, oh yeah, why would anyone buy physical media? It doesn't make any sense. And then I come here and the internet's much slower and metered. Like, oh right, I forget how spoiled I am with the internet connectivity I have back in the States, and then you travel overseas, like, oh yeah, not everyone has that.
Which is interesting because I feel like I go well, when I go to England, I feel very fortunate to live in the U.S. because the internet in England is the worst internet ever. Like Australia has been markedly better than
Really?
tame in England, the worst internet ever. But then when I went to Japan, everything was so fast. I was like, what is going on, America? Why is the internet so much faster?
Well, that's
here?
what you always hear is that ours is one of the slowest. I don't know what I'm sure they're milking the stats a little bit. It's like slowest per capita or slowest per population density. Or
It's like South Korea, I think, has the fastest
I believe
internet.
so.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look it up right now. But how fast is your connection at home, Meg?
Gigabit. Oh, no, it's not. It's 300 whatever.
300 megabit?
Yeah, 300 megabit.
You know, one of the
Megs.
fiber ranges.
No.
What about-
well, never mind.
Yeah. What about
Let's just leave it at that.
yeah? What about you, Ryan?
I think I've got 200. Like I could go to 300. Time Warner's gotten that much out to me, but
Yeah.
thankfully, because it was real. Well, when I say shitty, it was like 50 for the longest time. But I feel bad saying that here.
Yeah, I have fiber connection, so I have a gigabit connection at home, and I was actually really annoyed because the company came and they do the installation, and on wireless, my laptop was only getting like 200 megabits. And I was like, it's kind of bullshit. But wired, everything was fine.
Yeah.
And then I, went through my router settings and I realized that they had just never enabled the 5 gigahertz network. So I wasn't getting the fastest connection I could, so I enabled it, and then now it's like 600 megabit over wireless.
Yeah, ours is 300 for both wired and wireless. It does well. It does really well in the house. Eventually, it'll be gigabit, but not
Here's the thing. So at what point do you think you start to get? Oh, so you've had gigabit access now for a while. How much of that do you actually use? Like, do you really need to download something like I need this 5 minutes instead of 10 minutes?
It's great when you're playing a lot of video games where you want to download something really fast. So not every platform is the same. But if I buy something on Steam, it's like super quick. It'll download. If I buy something on my Xbox, it's
Well, they
quick.
throttle it on the Xbox side. I don't
Yeah.
think you can pull gigabit from Xbox or from Microsoft.
Yeah, when I do, so you can do. There's like a speed test you can do like via the dashboard, and I can pull a couple hundred megabits on there. But when I do like the speed test on my PS4, they definitely throttle it on that side. Like the PSN is definitely slower, but it's still really handy. Anytime I want to play a game. So I use it pretty frequently. Plus, also it's like if I do that, if someone else is streaming video or uploading on my network, it doesn't really impact my connectivity.
Yeah.
Do you think you really are running into that headroom already? Like even at 200?
Probably not, but better safe than sorry. I mean, it's the same price. Like the price I'm paying for gigabit connectivity is probably the same as or less than what you're paying for 300.
I think I'm paying 60, or for 200 I'm paying 60.
For my gigabit, I'm paying 70. So, yeah, there's no point not to.
Chump.
Freaking AT&T.
Chump.
Run some fiber out to my house.
Trump.
Just move closer to the center of the city.
Yeah.
Good schools though.
Oh yeah. The good. You know what? I'm not going to say anything else. The good schools.
I've been trying to load the list of countries by internet connection speed here since we mentioned it, and
It's still taking
still not
forever.
loading, so I don't think Australia is near the top of that list.
To be fair, we probably don't need 300 gigs, but gigabit. But I upload YouTube videos from home, and so does Gavin.
Oh, that's really
So the upside of it,
It
yeah.
will take forever, and he uploads in like 4K. So it takes forever. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I was worried about here is, we're filming the patch, so we're not live, big spoiler. We're filming the patch in Australia, and then I worried, like, okay, now once I get the footage, where am I going to go to upload this so that they can get it back in Austin in time for the stream on Wednesday? And
So if you're seeing this late, it didn't work out.
So yeah, if we're not live at 4
we have
p.m.
no
on
clue.
Wednesday, oops.
Whoops, we tried.
still-
Oh,
here
look,
we
the
go.
list of countries is finally.
So yeah, I guess the global average connection speed is 5.1 megabits, and yeah, South Korea is on top with an average connection speed of 20.5 megabits. Where's the U.S.? So 1,
Whoa,
2,
wow.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. The UK's above us?
Yeah,
13.
well,
We're
that's
number
a
14.
Fucking lie.
Well,
Well, at least
it
maybe
averages,
where I
though.
was, yeah.
Yeah, well, you were out in the middle. Like, I'm not gonna say where, but
Yeah.
I imagine around most of the population in England lives around the larger population centers, and they probably have really good internet there.
Well, to be fair, like Tame is a town where it is a fair. It's like it's not a large town, it's not a city by any means. Also has shit internet. Terrible internet.
Australia's number 31 on the list. Average connection of 7.8
Who's
megabits.
beating them by one place?
Who's beating them by one place? Thailand.
Thailand.
8.2 megabits. So yeah. And then
Who are the top 5?
the top 5. South Korea, Sweden, Norway, Switzerland, Hong Kong.
Well, Japan's number 7.
Yeah, the Netherlands and Japan.
Sweden, huh?
Yeah, let's go live in the cold parts.
Norway. I guess the places they were like, we don't want to go outside for 75% of the year. There's,
Let's just stay in and have fast internet.
Yeah, so above the United States on the list are Romania
yeah.
and Czech Republic, which I would not picture those as being like.
Again, it all averages out though. Like when you're talking about that, you got to think somewhere out in Ohio, there's a guy that just can't get more than dial-up.
That's very true.
Yeah.
There are like houses that don't get any internet.
When I, in a previous job, was working for like telecom companies, and we were doing software rollout for a company that was bringing Wi-Fi to like rural areas. They got a government stipend to do a like statewide wireless network.
That's really cool. That's like Kansas City, right? Was the first like wireless city. Like you
Didn't
can
it get shut
Wi-Fi.
down? Was it?
Wait, did it get shut down?
Did it not?
I don't know. Google that.
Every time you hear one of those,
Google
like,
that in
we're going to
20
bring
minutes, we'll
internet
talk
to the
about it.
people, and then
No,
the
it,
government's like,
happened.
no.
Kansas City, it was like free Wi-Fi for everyone.
I'm looking up Kansas City Wi-Fi. I hit enter.
Like the telco coms always come in and say, no, you can't do that.
It's like the Tesla.
Yeah.
I should also preface, I'm using like the free internet at the location we're at, so it's not like it's a dedicated connection.
I also like that you hit it right at 22 minutes, so now I can see exactly how long it takes the page to load.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, it's still loading. Still waiting for Google, I think. So yeah, I don't know what it's doing.
Anyway, video games. We'll come back to it.
We'll-
Wi-Fi.
we'll
Video
get
games.
to
I have
that.
interesting video game stuff to talk
Oh,
about.
yeah.
What's up?
I can finally talk about XCOM 2.
Oh yeah, you weren't here last
Yeah.
week. We didn't
that's
miss
true.
you,
It
but
was-
you
oh.
didn't.
Well,
How
I
is
could
it-
go back.
What is the release date on XCOM 2?
I'm not 100% sure. It's like a couple weeks off. I think we got it a preview copy a couple weeks early.
You're
And,
gonna overload your crappy
I know, I'm trying to
internet.
look that up.
slow
too,
down a little bit, okay? One page at a time.
So how was XCOM 2?
I really like it. It's one of those things where whenever you do a sequel, you're kind of scared that they're going to go a different direction that doesn't feel like you remember from the first one. And they've changed things up a lot, but it's all in ways that makes it feel like a really cool extension of the first one. So, I mean, they had Enemy Within kind of come out, and that was sort of a tweak on things, but it wasn't very.
It just loaded.
Oh.
A minute 13.
Yeah.
Now, was it a like picture heavy page, or is
It's
it
a
just
Google,
It's Google search.
results.
Okay. But no, the tweak to it being now you're kind of a mobile base. I can't really talk about the story too much, but what?
You just sound like no matter what you're talking about, you sound really pretentious, and you're like, well, I can't say too much about
I can't
the
say too
story.
much.
We got cool Ryan Haywood here.
Oh, yes. Let me just tighten up my dicky.
No, I mean, we all say it all the time, but it's just funny when someone says it. Sorry.
Well,
Continue,
sorry, I
please.
can't reveal to the public.
Yeah.
Plebs, please. But, no, I mean, if you're a fan of the first
So-
two, you're really going to like this.
So I have a question about that.
Yeah.
So I looked it up. The release date's February 5th. So you said like the base is mobile. Is there
Yes.
still a base building element to the game?
Yes, there is. You still have this. It's very similar actually, base building, other than the fact that because you're a mobile ship, now when you like clear zones, you're clearing out stuff that's actually valuable, so you get money back for doing that.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like a converted alien ship that is your home base, and you still have to do like power management. You still have to do all that normal stuff. There's even like an equivalent like radio tower type thing. As far as I know so far, there's not like a replacement for having to have hangars with ships in them, but you still may have like encounters with UFOs because you're a mobile base, so now they're actually kind of coming after
So
you.
your whole base is encountering a UFO.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, the change in that feels so much like the original, but changes it up enough that you really get the experience of a new game. And all it's weird in some ways as a step back from Enemy Within because you don't really have like the mechs. At least right off the bat. You do encounter some. But so far I've really liked everything. Yeah, they still have a research trees and all the dissections, interrogations, all that stuff.
So obviously, when we talked about this when they announced the game, XCOM 2 is only on PCs, no console versions have been announced yet. Is there controller support for the game, or is it just keyboard and mouse?
I tried it, and but I haven't delved into the options. I just had one plugged in, and it did not immediately respond to that. But I'm not sure. Enemy Unknown when it first came out also didn't really have like a console path. So.
Do you play mouse and keyboard on most of your PC games, or would you say you predominantly play with the controller?
It depends on the game. Like I'll go back and forth on what works better.
So it wasn't a big put out that you had to go mouse and keyboard.
I mean, RTS or tactical type games, I usually would go for keyboard anyway.
But then the reason I ask is Enemy Unknown and Enemy Within both had console ports, so I played both of those with controllers. And if I have to play this one on a PC, I'd rather do it via Steam Link on my TV with a controller, so I don't get butt problems.
That's a good question. Yeah, I didn't really. So you don't get butt
You
problems.
can put your computer somewhere that's not on the floor.
Also, the Steam Link will work with a wireless keyboard, won't it?
Yeah, but I don't have a wireless keyboard.
Yeah, and
I've got
also
a
leaning
controller.
It's
like
like
this
$12.
is so annoying.
You just sit back like this.
Nobody's got a keyboard on their lap that balances properly.
That's the one good thing. Do you remember the Phantom? Like that old console that got announced but never came out back in like 2000 or 2001. It was by that bullshit company, Infinium Labs. They went to E3 like they had a console, and anyway, it ended up all being bullshit. It never came out. But the one thing they made that they actually did sell for a little while was this really, and it was supposed to be for their console, was like a wireless keyboard and mouse that you use on your lap. Since it was supposed to be like a console you plugged in that played PC games.
How does it work?
I don't remember. It's
Was
been like
it
15
like
years.
contoured, so it had to come
Did
out?
it use
I remember it being comfortable and thinking, okay, like that's a product I could see
Huh.
myself using, but I think that particular piece of hardware was ahead of its time because it really wasn't a
That's
good
interesting.
interface for the television.
The only thing I can think the way you make it work is remember the lap boards that had Beanie Baby beans in them, so the bottom was all squishy, putting it on that. But I've never once had a comfortable mouse and keyboard experience on
Get
the
like one of those tray tables for food.
I guess, but then it's up here.
Like a TV tray?
Yeah, TV tray.
I'm sure someone has solved this
No,
problem.
I'm sure a lot of people play it on their couch, but it's still.
I mean, and for XCOM, you can pretty much just do it with a mouse too. Like you don't even need the keyboard, so you can just sit there on the cushion.
So I guess, they have not, Firaxis has not announced any gamepad support for XCOM 2. There's no gamepad. There is. XCOM 2 won't support gamepads at launch.
At launch.
So and maybe at some point down the road they'll
eventually.
add it. So you know that at that point they're going to port it to console.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, right.
Support
It's
them
like, well, we don't need the controller support. They're going to need it eventually, and then they'll just.
I haven't seen any reason in anything in this game in particular that would prevent it from going to console.
Well, and that's the thing we talked about when they announced it was they said that their reasoning was they wanted to make the game look as good as it possibly could, and in all the pre-render or all the trailers and the marketing materials I saw, it's like it doesn't look that much better than what they were already doing on console. So I didn't understand.
It does look better. I mean, but that's anytime you have a sequel, it's like it just looks more modern. Like there's more of the effects that are whatever the.
Got some hair works in there?
I don't
Everybody
think
got some
so.
flowing hair?
You do have some. I mean, there's hair.
Oh.
Like you get up
Let's
close
just
to
see
the
how much of the
characters.
story we can get out of him by asking him questions that don't seem relevant to the story. Who has hair?
Characters.
Interesting.
when did they die in the
Yeah.
story? How
Were
far
you
did they
surprised
make
to see them in this game?
He just clams up. He's totally like a Gavin move. You just
Yep.
shut up.
He does his plank and goes into his board position. Did
Actually,
you cross your eyes too?
Did I?
Look like you crossed your eyes.
Actually, the preview copy doesn't go all the way in, so I don't even know the ending yet.
So you played to the end. How far did it go?
No, I just said I couldn't.
Right, but I'm saying how far did it go?
Yeah, what was the last part of the story?
Yeah.
Well, XCOM isn't really story dependent, really.
Don't laugh. Don't give it away.
No, I have nothing to give away. Like, I honestly have.
How many hours did you play?
You started your talk about XCOM 2 by saying that you couldn't talk about it.
Look,
and then now you're saying you have nothing to talk about.
Don't
You
talk
have
about
nothing
this.
to give away.
Sound really
That's like two cutscenes,
I can't talk
really.
too much about the story because I don't actually know what happens.
I know
so
nothing.
I really can't say too much.
It's because I'm completely ignorant. But if I say it this way, it makes it sound like I'm not.
How long did you play?
I think I have probably about 10 hours in it. It's one of those things where with XCOM you can always just ignore like, hey, you should do this. This is the way that advances the story. And you're like, but I could just run around for a little bit longer.
So you think that there was less of 10 hours of story in the copy that you were given?
Significantly. Well, no, I didn't pursue that chain for a while, so I continued to run around and do other things and develop technologies. I think the preview copy was locked to once you developed a certain thing.
Interesting.
Then it shut you down. But no, it's got a bunch of different types of encounters too, which is pretty cool. I will say there's one thing that's really kind of sad about it, because if you remember from the original XCOMs, well, not original, the Enemy Unknown, there was the missions where you have to like go save everybody, and save civilians. Well, they still have a mission like that, but every time one of those people dies, they have a name, and it tells you. It's like, Lawrence Gooseman just died. Oh.
Does it give you a backstory? Lawrence Gooseman will not be having dinner with his 3 children because he's dead.
They took a step in that direction by
you.
giving him a name. Like, I do feel much worse about it now when it's like, oh, an actual named person.
Oh my god.
Take that
got
audio,
it?
sorry.
The best please close up because his eyes did cross that time when he was looking.
Look, you warned me that the bugs here were dangerous. I'm just eliminating any one of them
he's
I see.
helping us. But you can give your party members names, so it's like
You can.
Michael
We did
died.
a great Let's Play.
Yeah.
We were really worried about how that was going to work out, but we did a Let's Watch style thing where I just gave everyone in my team the names of the people in the room, and it really worked out way better than we could have thought it would. I'm afraid to do another one because it worked out so well.
Is it out yet?
Yes, it's out.
Okay, so the interesting thing is the way that you just said it went, which was like, oh man, it worked out so well and everybody had a great time. But when Michael told me about it, he was like, we played XCOM and Ryan was like, you can pick where you go. And then I'd be like, I want to go there. And Ryan was like, nah, you're not going there. And Ryan totally railroaded everybody.
I did not. I let them do what they wanted. Like, I offered suggestions, which it's funny because I'm getting a lot of a lot of pushback on like how badly I played. Like, oh, Ryan, it just doesn't know how to play XCOM very well. I was like, well, I was just trying to keep it social. Like, I wanted things to kind of happen as they were going to happen.
Interesting.
Michael is too touchy about that. Come on. I let him do whatever he wanted to do.
Interesting. Somebody should have reviewed the tape. See how often you're like,
he never played the
you
game.
should
I had to explain to him a little bit, like what, cover and Overwatch and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was just being helpful.
It was just funny to me.
Here, let me. I need to do an ad read.
Oh, please.
So I want to remind everyone, this episode of The Patch is brought to you by Squarespace. Thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this episode of The Patch. Start building your website today at squarespace.com. Enter offer code PATCH at checkout to get 10% off. With Squarespace, you can build sites that look professionally designed regardless of your skill level with no coding required. They offer intuitive, easy-to-use tools to help you along the way, and you get a free domain name if you sign up for a year. Start your free trial site today at squarespace.com. When you decide to sign up for Squarespace, make sure you use offer code PATCH to get 10% off your first purchase. Squarespace, build it beautiful. The copy has an error. It says built it beautiful, but I said it right.
Way to call it out.
So yeah, go sign up for a website. Make a website.
Remember that time
Why
Gus
not?
called the ad read stupid?
What?
Stupid. I said stupid.
I do not recall this.
Yeah.
I have
Gus
no
was like,
recollection.
someone was dumb. They don't know how to say build.
This water expires in October.
You got plenty
Wow,
of time.
that's been really interesting facts with Ryan Haywood.
What does it become after October?
So I found it, and we'll put this in the
cool.
patch notes, the Phantom lap board.
Oh, does it fit in that thing? Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
and it kind of pivots, so you can put it to the side if you need like a little surface for the mouse as well.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was a cool idea. They had a black one and a white one, and if I recall, you could also pivot the keyboard up, so you could use the mouse under it if you wanted to.
Oh.
So it's like the keyboard would be at a slight angle like this, and you had like a little surface under it for the mouse.
Look very suggestive when you're just.
So see, your
rubbing
complaints
it.
are completely invalid.
No, I think that's cool. It's a great invention.
Yeah,
they don't sell it anymore because it was a scam.
Well, I think that they just the console never came out, and I'm looking. That's what it looked like. The console was at E3 in 2004.
The Phantom.
And it was canceled. The release was promised to come out November 2004. but it never actually came out.
So was it supposed to be
It had
like
an
a Steam
online
machine?
release with basic hardware specifications and a price of below $3.99.
Yeah, that's as far as they got. Yeah, it was going to be like an on-demand gaming service where I think you paid like a monthly fee, and then you just streamed the games to it.
Oh, so like a GameFly box.
Right, or like was it OnLive, or what was the name of that service? There was a service that did something similar for
Yeah.
a while. Like this was that, but obviously way ahead of its time. Like this was supposed to be in 2004. There's no way.
Do you think the people who did the Phantom now are like, son of a bitch?
Yeah.
We were innovators, man.
Well, yeah, but you have in order to be an innovator, you have to ship something.
To be
Yeah,
fair.
I don't think that it ever came
Oh,
out.
come on, it just counts that you had the idea.
Yeah, I feel
And the mouse and keyboard.
I had, so I went to E3 that year in 2004, and I saw it, and I got to play with it, and I had a Phantom shirt that I wore for a long time, and like it was like, yeah, look at me, it's cool. Like wearing it like ironically, like
Yeah.
this never came out.
R.I.P. Just like write it right above it.
And I think if I recall, it was a weird logo. It looked kind of like the Shovel Knight head, like a knight's helmet, and it had like a couple of horns, and then under it said "I believe."
Now it's even funnier.
And now
It's actually part of an ARG nobody ever figured out. Valve's ARG. What else we have?
I'm over ARGs
Oh, interesting.
for video games. Yeah.
I'm over like, oh, we're so cheeky, we'll start an ARG that's not even a real ARG, and then you get the red herring badge, and it's like, funny, Valve. But some people are really into ARGs.
Yeah, I feel like too often they're too complicated. Like they appeal to a very core set of people who get
Yes.
really enthusiastic about it, but for the most part, people don't care. It's like,
It's true.
Whatever.
There was a guy, I also don't like ARGs. I guess it's like a weird feeling. Like you feel like they're cashing in on the ARG. Like there was a guy a couple years ago who was gonna write a book that was an ARG. And he was like, it's gonna be a trilogy and you gotta do all this stuff with the book and then someone's gonna win a bunch of money at the end if they solve my ARG. And it was like, yeah, but you can't like, I'm trying to Google it. I'm not just like typing and texting somebody. You can't do that. I feel like you can't start from the get-go. Like this isn't Ready Player One. You can't be like, I'm setting it up. Someone's gonna win some money.
You think announcing an ARG makes it worse? Like, it's better for them to discover it on their own, or?
Yeah, I kind of like when it's like cheeky. Like somebody discovers something and was like, what is this? Why? Like, what am I doing here?
yeah. So I don't think we ever really talked about that. What Valve did with the winter sale, and I don't fully understand. So they hid references to like Half-Life 3 in the winter sale, or what was going on with that?
They did, I know it was like you had to have a password for certain video game pages. So like Hitman was one of the video game pages where if you took a string of numbers that were from a comic and put it in the password prompt in Hitman, it unlocked, it sent you to a different video game page, which was really weird. And so there was literally a Reddit called reddit.com/r/Steam Sale Detectives that was like
Wow, that
dedicated
moves
just to finding hints for this ARG.
I'm trying to load it. We'll see if we get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like too often it's just a lot of wasted effort for something that doesn't pay off that well. It just makes me think of A Christmas Story, like drink your Ovaltine. You know,
Oh yeah,
you
it
put
does.
all-
That's exactly
Wait,
what
what?
Valve did. You never seen A Christmas Story? The movie?
He gets a
You
decoder
shoot your
ring
eye
for a
out?
radio show, and he gets like they give out a special secret message at the end of the radio show, and he's like feverishly like trying to decode the message, and at the end, like the secret message was drink your Ovaltine. He's like, it's like, oh, like you waste all that effort just to receive a marketing message, or just to receive
Yes.
like, yeah. So that's the aspect I'm over.
So can you think of an example of a good ARG?
A good ARG.
I Love Bees.
You think that was? I think I Love Bees was too complicated.
Interesting.
That was the old Halo 2
Yeah,
ARG.
it's the ARG, and then they got to play the game early. The people who solved it, but I thought it was really interesting. But there were elements where it was like you would answer a payphone. They would do coordinates, and then they would give you a time that you'd have to like decode, and then you would go to the payphone, and then you could talk to an actor who was part of the ARG, and they would like answer questions. But it started out with this website that was about bees that looked like it had like a coding error. But then when you figured it out, it was like all related to Halo. It was really, really cool. But then there were people that were like, somebody answered a payphone in a hurricane, and like there were other, like it was like in the middle of a desert. Like people did all sorts of really crazy things to solve the ARG. I think it was really neat. I'm kind of biased. A friend of mine who lives in LA was one of the actresses that played a part in it. But I just think I love ARGs like that, where there's actually a payoff, and then those people got to play Halo early.
So a beneficial payoff, one that's not
Yeah.
just a marketing message.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I can see that. I can agree with that. I just can't think of one that I think really did it effectively.
It's true, and there are so many that try nowadays and then never go anywhere. Like I always say, Ingress is like one that people are like so all about. I felt like I jumped on the Ingress train right at the very beginning, and there was already too much information for me to like possibly understand what was going on.
And Ingress is like the augmented reality game you play via your phone, where it's like you see a map of areas around you that have like power-ups and stuff you go to, and there's like two sides.
Yeah, you're assigned a faction, and so then like you can see near you, like one faction will have control of this space. So then if it's not your faction, you go there, and like your being there converts it to your side. But when I started, I had an iPhone, and you could only play with an Android phone.
Yeah.
And so it was just like a huge way to like kill your audience right off the bat, is to only have and make it Android only.
Well, the people who developed Ingress, I forget, it was
Niantic.
Niantic was.
Whoa, wait a minute. Kill your audience by making it Android only. Androids are most of the.
Well, I'm just saying,
phones
if
of
you
the
want
market.
people to jump in and into ARG,
most
then
of the
you're
phones
going to
in the
want.
market globally.
Yeah.
I think in the US it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot more. Yeah.
And also, if you want people to play your ARG, make sure they can play it on whatever device they have.
They will get around to it.
At the time, Niantic was owned by Google.
Yes.
I think subsequently they've been spun off.
And now you can play it with an iPhone as well.
Yes.
But Niantic is doing something else, right? They just announced they're doing something, and it was like formerly Google's Niantic. Oh man, they announced some project. I'll Google it.
Well, while you're looking that up, I want to talk about Ingress a bit. So I went, every year. I mean, I'm going in a couple of weeks, but every year I go to the DICE Summit in Vegas. And like 2 years ago, there was a demo and a presentation about Ingress. And then, like at the very end of the demo, like an actress came out. It's like, wait, you're not telling the truth. And it's like she comes up like in character, it's like representing the other side of the fact. She's like, for all the information, you need to tell the people. And like she tried to organize like a meetup for her faction, and it was just like kind of cringy. It goes back to that ARG like.
Yeah, it's cringe.
Yeah.
Well, the Ingress had like a YouTube page where you could follow some girl who was like, I'm trying to figure out this mystery. And I was like, it's like Marble Hornets, but like shittier. Like Marble Hornets is actually interesting, and this girl's YouTube channel was awful. But they're doing Pokemon Go, is what they're doing now.
Oh, is that the mobile version?
Yeah.
Of Pokemon?
Well, no, it's the one where you can find them in real life.
There's so many mobile.
Yeah.
That sounded really stupid.
Yeah, the ARG where you can find Pokemon in real life, where I will actually go and find Pokemon in my life.
Do you think maybe it's just you're getting like older and cynical? It's like you're just not willing to commit to like the suspension of disbelief required to really get into those things?
I just can't deal with cringe at all.
Yeah,
like, I'm really
Well, it's only
low threshold
cringy
for
if you don't
cringe.
buy into it.
No, I think there's just cringe
It was
for
just
everybody.
cringy.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I like the idea of Ingress. It's just I had the same problem you did, where it wasn't available on iPhone initially, and I feel like it had gotten so far along. People were really into it by the time there was an iPhone version. It was like, well, there's.
And it's like you had to watch all these different YouTube videos and then see this thing and then another thing. But there was that ARG. Oh man, I'll look it up too, because this one I made a reference to it in a no video, and people were like, "Oh shit, is she involved in it?" No, I just thought it was cool. It was oh gosh, it's an ARG, and it's like X1. You guys know what I'm talking about? It's the guy who's wearing he's wearing a mask, and it's like a plague doctor mask. And all these different like weird messages show up in his YouTube video. He delivered a video it was like a thumb drive to a website, and this video was on it. And it was filled with all these different messages that people ended up decoding, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. It was like they did like the spectrograph thing of the audio files to find pictures.
Weird. Wow.
It was amazing.
Who goes through this and figures this out?
It turned out to be, it was like a huge thing people got all into, and it turned out to just be some artist that was like seeing if people would get interested in his project. But it was like, I love.
Was there something
like
really
that.
lame at the end, like, "Hey guys, thanks for
It was
Drink your Ovaltine.
Yeah, exactly. Hey guys, drink your Ovaltine. I'll figure out what it is. Hold on.
So we haven't. While you're looking that up, I'm going to talk at you. You haven't been on since we announced that Zoombeanies is the new Game Club game.
Zoombeanies.
So I have not downloaded it yet, but
So good.
maybe it's something I should download and play on the plane.
Is that a good
going
plane
back.
game?
I don't know.
Oh,
I've never
it is.
played
It is. It's good. And it's actually, you'll finish it with time to spare on the plane. It's not long.
So Ryan and I were talking about games to play on a flight, because the flight from LA to Sydney is about 15 hours long, and we were trying to figure out what good games to play during that trip was. And you said you downloaded several for the flight.
I picked up all three of the Shadowrun games. I already had Shadowrun Returns, but I got Dragonfall and Hong Kong. Haven't played any of those yet. I'm like a little bit into Returns, and then I started playing in the airport. I picked up the Telltale Back to the Future series, because I figured anything point and click is pretty easy for planes. I didn't want anything where I'd have to interact too much.
Yeah.
Did you pick up anything?
No, I didn't. I mainly watched movies. But and then after we talked about that, I mentioned that Tharsis would be a great game.
Right.
And I finally beat Tharsis on normal difficulty. That game is really frustratingly hard. And the thing that I don't like is I tweeted that Tharsis was a difficult game. And then I get all the replies like, oh, I beat it on my first try.
Course.
Oh, I beat it on my second try. So apparently everyone in the world is better at that game.
Everybody's super good, yeah. And they never misspell tweets or anything.
Right. But it's a really good game. Now I want to go back and try to finish it on the hard difficulty.
So, as compared, what platforms is it on? Is it just PC or is it?
PC and PS4, I believe.
So it doesn't have like a mobile version?
No, not as far as I know.
Would it work for mobile? I mean, you kind of compare it sort of
Probably
FTL.
not. Like I normally play it on, I have a gaming laptop. I normally play it on that. I tried playing it on this MacBook Air, and it did not look good.
So it's more graphically intense.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's graphically intensive, but like the overview of the ship just wouldn't load. It was just like a bright light, and it's I'm sure the game's fine. This is not a machine built for gaming. It's got like shitty integrated graphics.
Yeah, it's a Mac. It's a piece of shit.
But so I cannot play it on this. I have to play it on my laptop, on my other laptop.
So the viral video is called 11BX1371.
Catchy.
And that's
Yeah.
what the
How could you not remember that?
Yeah, of course. It came to light in October of last year, and it was sent to a website called Gadget ZZ, which is a Swedish blog.
Oh yeah, we all know Gadget ZZ.
Yeah, who doesn't know? And apparently people figured out, it was a DVD that was sent to them, and people figured out all the different things with it and figured out who the guy was behind it. But he basically said he went to a convention where people gave him lots of business cards, and then he just picked out one person's business card, and it happened to be Gadget ZZ, and that's who he sent it to see if he could get it like picked up. It was really very, very cool.
Now I wonder
I
if
love stuff like that.
So, like I came back to my car one time and just found like a DVD under the wiper, and so I took it to work to plug it in, of course, because I'm not gonna do that at home.
Yeah, of course.
And it was just like this weird recruitment video for like some kind of cult.
Oh, did
Wait,
you join?
where-
How was the cult?
I
Yeah.
did not.
Wait, where were you parked? Was it only your car?
I didn't really look around to see if anybody else had one.
But where were you parked?
I don't even remember.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was.
Porn store.
Massage parlor.
Wink.
But now I kind of wonder if I shouldn't have invested more time
Yeah,
in
it
there.
was like
Maybe
some
that was an
artist
ARG.
that really like put in like an ARG like level of quality, and you were just like, yeah, that's just shit, and
Trash.
threw it away.
Back when CDRs or like CDR drives were super expensive and I don't know, just like really hard to get. One time Jeff and I went in halfsies. We bought this 8X Plex Store CD burner, and we got it, and we are like, oh sweet, we'll be able to burn CDs now. And we opened it up, installed it into our PC, booted up, went to go put in a CDR, we ejected it, and there was a burned copy of the Best of Todd Rundgren in the drive. We're like, the fuck is this? Like, this is supposed to be a brand new drive. We were so pissed
That's
off
what
about
they test it with.
The best of
Yeah.
burn, the best, and a free Best of Todd Rundgren
Yeah, that's in there.
bootleg for you.
You were like the original version of the people now that get like the video from China on their phone or whatever.
Oh,
you ever
I've
seen those where they have like the video, like a shot from inside the
That
factory? of
happened to
people
us. Have I ever
testing
shown you the
No.
one I have?
it?
We, years ago, when we were still in the Congress studio, when Monty first started, he had requested a laptop, and so I built I didn't build it, but I had ordered a custom laptop for him. And when we got it, like I was setting it up for him, I opened it up and I was like, oh, that's weird, there's no setup. It just, like I turned it on and it went straight to the desktop. And I was like, oh, and there's stuff on here. And I looked and it was like, one of them was a video. So I guess that was the laptop they had pulled off of the assembly line and they had done testing on. And one of the tests was to record video, and they had left it recording for like 10 minutes.
But they didn't like factory reset it.
They're
That was
supposed
like
to, but they didn't.
that's like when people get like the notes in their thing that's like, the conditions are so horrible here, please help us. That's what that video was, and you didn't help anyone.
No one like looked at it or talked to it. Like it just sat there, and it was just like filming the production line.
They started the camera too late. They'd already dragged the person away.
Maybe.
Too
I'm trying to see if
creepy.
I can find it.
Yeah,
If I
did
can
you
find it, we'll
upload
put it
it?
up. I did. I'll see if I can find it. I think I uploaded it to Vimeo. I'll just have to see if I can figure out, because it was years ago. It was a long
Yeah.
time ago. But at one point in the background, there's almost like an I Love Lucy type moment where like this woman kind of messes up, and then like the line starts backing up, and they're like scrambling around, like trying to move laptops around.
Putting chocolates in her hat. It's crazy.
Because it's just an assembly line, and like I guess like it gets in front of someone, they do something to it, and it just continues moving around or moving
You
down
saw
the line.
someone's like worst day.
Yeah. But it was crazy, and there's like this voice, if I recall, that just like keeps saying something in Chinese.
It's like, help me, please get me out of this.
No, it was like an
factory."
automated voice. It sounded like a robot. It must have been like a work faster.
I wonder
work
if that
harder.
was why they didn't go back and factory reset it. I wonder if you witnessed like an event that just took down the factory. They're like,
Yeah.
ah! Someone just slapped it closed and tossed it on the pile.
Yeah, and it had that laptop had other stuff on it. It had like what looked like a pirated version of 3D Mark. Like they had like some software on it, I guess, for testing with like a text document filled with serial numbers.
Wow.
Yeah,
Weird.
Oh, you just got codes to every piece of software they have on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much every piece of software that they use when they're testing out videos or testing out laptops.
Yeah.
But yeah, that stuff's really interesting to me because it's like you think that the electronics you buy, are assembled by machines, and you realize no, there's a lot of like humans and like
Absolutely.
handwork. I don't know, what do you say?
Well, there's a lot of manual labor.
Right, manual
that goes.
labor.
Yeah, I remember getting my iPhone. I think it was my iPhone 5, and it had fingerprints all over the screen when I got it. And I remember being like super mad because you want to be the first one to like molest your technology.
We'll talk about the highbrow talk. What's that? What do you call it when you work with your hands?
what is that?
What is that?
I don't know.
People that use-
Manual labor.
Shovels and hoes.
The underlings is what I call them. I got in trouble, like I got teased recently for saying manual stairs. But then I realized, I was watching speedruns on the way over. I love speedrunning, and AGDQ just wrapped up. And so I've downloaded all the ones I missed. And I realized that in Zelda speedrunning, I love A Link to the Past, and there are stairs that are automated, and there are manual stairs. So like I was in high heels in Vegas, and Dan was like, let's go this way. And we just gotten off an escalator, and I was like, ugh, manual stairs. And Dan never let me live down manual stairs. And I was like, I don't know why I called them that. So weird. On the plane to Australia, I was like listening to Andy talk about his Link to the Past, and he's like, yeah, we're going to try these manual stairs. And I was like, oh, it's Andy's
That's where it
fault.
came from.
Andy made me say manual stairs.
At least you didn't call them analog.
That's true.
I would have given you shit too.
Right?
In Dan's defense, I mean, like manual stairs.
Manual stairs. What's wrong with you? Sorry, these aren't the digital stairs you're looking for.
Yeah.
Who wants to fight gravity?
It's so tedious. What are we, peasants?
What are we doing, manual labor here?
So, going back to video games for a second.
Yes.
So
For a second.
Metal Gear Online on the PC officially launched. So like they went into open beta for like a week. People broke it, figured out how
Yeah.
to get stuff, circumvent the microtransactions. They shut it down, and now they just launched it.
That seems like a really quick turnaround.
Right. It seems like almost like the open beta was like, we think that people can crack it. Let's see if they figure it out. Oh shit, they figured it out. And then they like.
Or do you think it was kind of publicity? Like, ooh, everyone's kind of over Metal Gear at this point. Kojima's moved on. There's no really news making headlines. What if we just made it like we've left this loophole in that we know exists? People crack it. They know immediately because they've already knew what the loophole was, how to close it, and launch it immediately to piggyback off the
Wow, that's a
success
deep
of the
rabbit
headline.
hole.
Is it that deep though?
It's
Is it?
pretty deep, yeah.
Made a lot of headlines, got a coverage. I can tell you that I absolutely would not have covered like, hey guys, Metal Gear Solid 5's PC beta.
Is that the attention you want? Like, oh look, it's broken.
Yeah, because
but
it's
it's
like
not
look how
launched,
fast
yeah.
they fixed it. It was A beta, which people are willing to forgive, and B, they fixed it and immediately launched it. I think like, ooh, that's pretty quick. That's exciting.
That's just somebody forgot to check in some code. The
No,
don't break it
I'm-
code.
I'm interested in what
you.
you're saying. I buy it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting.
You're buying this?
I'm a little conspiracy theorist
Yeah.
minded, yeah. So I could
I
believe
think
it.
so. We've already been talking about viral videos and everything else.
Uh-huh.
ARGs.
Did you play much? Did either of you play much Metal Gear Online?
No,
Played a
not.
little bit. We did a couple Let's Plays, and that was about it. It was really fun, the parts that we played, but I was just kind of done with Metal Gear by the time that was around. Mm-hmm. There was too much other stuff to play.
See? You're proving
This
my
didn't bring me
point.
back to it.
You're proving my
But it
point.
made you
but
think
if you
about
were
it.
home, yep,
No.
it's in your brain.
I didn't think about it at all.
You thought
Brain
about Metal
space.
Gear.
I haven't had a second thought.
You haven't thought about any of Quiet?
I think about nothing.
You don't think about Quiet every day?
She was hella cute,
She
though.
rolls around in a
She was
puddle.
hella cute.
Yeah.
He's trying to be so 2000s.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm a Harajuku girl. She's hella cute.
She was wearing like a bikini top. I think that's like different
know.
than hella cute.
All right, Dad, you
What's
look
the
real
code?
cute in your bikini
Look,
It's
top.
not like she had the big like eye contacts or
Kawaii eyes.
anything.
She
yeah.
could have used a jacket, okay? When you're at the beach, you get this.
She didn't have nearly enough sunscreen on. I was really worried about her.
Especially when she becomes translucent. I mean, that's just direct access to your internal
Can we
organs.
every time we talk about Metal Gear, just play the clip of her rolling around in the puddle for no reason? Because it's so glorious.
Well, that was your favorite part, right? Because
Yeah,
you didn't know have
absolutely.
any context. You
I was
just saw
doing
the
a Metal
clip.
Gear story, and I was like, this has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna use it. It's just her like, I thought it was like a dream sequence.
She was into nature, okay?
She was rubbing
liked
herself
water.
on concrete.
Well, that was just the way she
puddles.
drinks.
Oh, that's not.
No, seriously, is.
What?
Yeah, she just absorbs stuff through her skin.
She doesn't.
That's why she's naked
Why
all the
does she
time.
have a mouth?
She was originally a human person.
Yeah, they never fully explain
Okay.
this. I mean, it's like part of like the Metal Gear lore. You just
Yeah.
have to accept. That's why when they try to put clothes on her, she reacts very
She's
violently.
mad because she needs
Because
sun.
it-
She's like solar power.
It suffocates her.
Wait. Okay. Wait. Let me just ask some
Yeah.
questions about this here. Because most of her legs
Totally
are covered.
reasonable.
There's like fishnets going on.
Ah,
She's got
but
a
they're ripped
bikini
right
bottom.
through there.
But how does that add so much more than this?
Look,
Like,
the sun
this is
can get
uncovered.
through. You can still see her legs. It's
And
just
just-
like sunglasses.
Why
all
isn't
day.
she just naked?
Wow.
Or in just a bikini? She's got like other stuff going on.
I mean,
She has to carry her bullets too.
yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Let's be practical,
Pockets.
Meg.
And to be fair, wasn't it Kojima who was like, I was thinking about cosplayers when I made
Yeah.
Quiet. So. I don't.
All right, that's a little creepy there, Kojima.
Yeah. No. He
I was
was
thinking, what would I like to see a woman in?
yeah.
And almost nothing
it.
was at the top of the
Own it,
list.
Kojima. Like, as a cosplayer, I'm like, fuck yeah, you want to see a girl in that? I'll put that on.
Nothing
Good
was at
for
the top
you.
of the list,
Yeah.
but then I remembered the
Yeah.
game wouldn't get good rated, so
Yeah, I couldn't
almost
sell
nothing.
that.
Did you guys hear about the Dead or Alive Extreme 3?
I heard you were mad about it.
I was, oh yeah, we did that story
Yeah.
together, and I was like, this is the most bullshit response I've ever heard.
Where they're not going to release
They're
it.
not
in the
going to release
US?
it here in the US. And they said on their Facebook page, have you seen how games are treated in the treatment of women? It is very difficult for us, and we have thought long and hard and decided not to release in the United States because of feminism. And it's like, nah, bitch, it's Dead or Alive. I don't think anybody's going out there expecting it to be like a lesson in feminism.
It was very strange that they're like, yeah, we just we don't want to have to deal with the feminists.
Yeah,
it's
we're not
not
gonna
like
ha-
we're not going to tone the game back. but-
Or not like we're gonna stand by our art and be
Right.
proud of our art. Like if it pisses other people off, whatever. There
Yeah,
are
it was-
feminists in Japan too.
It was a really weird reaction and response on their
and
part.
it was like weird because it was like a Facebook post reply, and then their Twitter was like, "We stand by this statement," and that was it. Like it was so weird.
It's like, yeah, what we said.
Yeah. But like that's the thing. You're gonna make a game where girls play pool games and dance around and do the hula hoop in their bikinis. Own it.
It's
Say
like
like, yeah, you don't like it? Suck it. That's our game. Like I would respect that 1,000 times more than like, yeah, we're not releasing it in the US.
Do you think maybe they just didn't want to bother with like the manufacturing? Do you think maybe the sales wouldn't have been that great?
I think so. Let's talk about another conspiracy theory here, because I think the sales wouldn't have been so great, but now people are like, oh shit, now I have to import it because I
Yeah.
can't get it.
And then you
sell
can
it
sell it
digital.
twice. You sell someone an import copy, then you announce it's available in the region, then you sell them another like localized copy.
We'll see if in a year's time it's out.
It's kind of like Neko Atsume when they
Yeah.
only had like the Japanese version and they patched it to include English as well.
Yep,
Same thing.
I've got it.
I want to do a let's play in that game. That's just like
love that
checking on a
game.
cat and then like putting your phone down for 20 minutes and then checking on a cat and then putting your phone down for 20 minutes.
It's funny because mine are always like checking, the food is gone, I see no cats, okay? And put it down. And check, oh, the food is gone, but I see no cats, and put it down. And check, okay, food is gone, there's no cat. Like I just get a list of the cats that have visited that I've somehow missed
What is this
every single
game?
time. Neko Atsume.
It's like a cat collector simulator,
Yeah.
basically. I think I only have 3 cats to go. I'm almost done.
Oh, interesting. You leave out food and treats and toys and stuff, and cats come and play with them.
You don't get to play with the cats.
No.
You just look at them.
Yeah.
And then you put food in the bowl.
Yeah. It's
Have you
like
not heard
having
of this game?
It's like having a real
No.
cat. Here, I'll bring it up. I've got it on my phone.
And the great thing about this game was, I mean,
There's a great thing?
It's really shitty. But the great thing is that
Whoa.
you don't need internet connectivity. So when you're on a plane, you can just check on your cats. So I checked on my cats a lot during the flight down here.
It's meow loading.
Oh.
See, I have my toy over
So
there.
it's not even like a
snowy.
semi-realistic. It's just like,
They're just like little cartoon.
4 gifts await
Cats.
me.
and then you just have to give them to the cats.
Yeah, so then the cats bring you, after they eat the food, they give you like silverfish or goldfish, and then that's the currency you use to pay for more food or for toys for them.
Yeah.
So what happens if you do a bad job of feeding the cats? Do you
they
run
give
out of
you
food?
they don't give you as much good stuff.
So they still bring you stuff.
Right.
You've really got them on a hook. So you're like a cat drug pusher.
Yeah, pretty much.
They keep coming back, even if you don't have
So
the
it's
good
one of
stuff.
those, and then you can pay real world money to get like the silver and
Oh,
goldfish.
of course you can.
But I've never
Yeah, never
encountered
done
a
it.
need for that. It's like their economy's too forgiving for.
Well, look,
players.
maybe you just don't realize the benefits of paying for more. Maybe you could have like a super cat condo structure.
You can actually have a cat condo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
once
you
you
can't
get
afford
like
that one, can
you
you?
unlock
can.
like this room over here where there's like an inside that you can see. I have a bunny on my porch.
Oh, it's a snow bunny.
Snow bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put out some sashimi. Can't say that. We'll see
Really?
if any cats come out. Yeah, I want the good cats.
You got to check on it pretty frequently then. Because then
Or
otherwise
what? It goes bad?
you
No,
waste
then
it because
they-
then they'll eat it and then you put the
And
food
they'll be
out for
gone.
nothing.
Yeah.
What, huh? They eat the food and then it's bad, but you put it out there for them to eat.
But then
No,
you
you don't get to see them enjoying it.
There you go.
You people.
But then Tubbs,
Really worry me
There's one
sometimes.
cat that shows up and will just eat all the food, and then you have to replace
So it's
it.
like a natural disaster, basically.
I hate when he shows
It's
up.
like in
hate
Sims
Tubbs.
when you could have Godzilla come through.
Uh-huh.
It's him. What's his name? Tubbs?
Tubbs.
Sim City.
Tubbs. I'm like, Tubbs, eating all my food.
Tubbs has been through here.
Come on, he's kind of endearing though, right? He's like,
Yeah.
it's Tubbs.
No.
Hide the food.
It was at first, and then now I'm like, yeah, get out of here, Tubbs.
Can you take the food back out of the bowl?
No.
Can you watch a cat come in and be like, no?
No, can't do that.
No, you're
That
just
would be-
committed.
Hey, I got new cats. I got Smokey and Shadow and Sunny and Pumpkin. So,
But you didn't
Those
get
are
to
all
enjoy
new.
them. I hear that's the best part.
yeah, I have a lot left. Oh, I also had Marshmallow was new. Really good ones. Oh, this
You
one's-
have actual cats. You know that, right?
Yeah,
I
but
have a cat. You don't have any cats.
I don't have any cats. But this way you don't have to really deal with them. It's like, all right, go
Yeah,
away.
my cat's an asshole. Have you ever met my cat?
I have
He
not met your
sucks.
cat.
Yeah. well,
I hear the vets don't like him though.
Yeah, no. He's the only cat I've ever heard a doctor actually say, "You suck," to an animal. As my cat.
All right, well, it's about time
Yeah.
to wrap up. So thanks everyone for joining us for our special Australian, kind of meandering episode of The Patch. But stay tuned for Game Club, and we'll see you guys next week, back from the US, hopefully.
Goodbye.
Bye.
What does that mean? You did Zumbinis?
Are we doing Game Club after this?
Yeah.
Oh, no, we're not doing Game Club. We'll come back with Game Club. I forgot we're doing it monthly
I was
now.
getting so
Yeah.
worried I didn't get to be in
All
the Zumbinis one. Bye.
Bye.
Stu and Lindsay will be off topic next week in Australia. You broke it!
Lindsay's got one on. Go.
She's back there. And so she poops on losers.